Bengals coming off the win over Pittsburgh against the 2-1 Houston Oilers. Houston won the toss. They will receive the deep men, a rookie out of Texas A&M, number 85, Carl Roaches, and Jeff Bruce, number 81. The kick from Sumter, and it's picked off by one of the up men. Bringing across the 30-yard line, Mike Bobber, the tight end, who has been off to a sensational start, with new quarterback Ken Stabler on the short return. As we look at the Houston Oilers backfield, Ken Stabler, who has been red hot, he is connected on his last 8 passes. Tim Wilson and Rob Cart starting at running back, with Earl Campbell sitting it out because of that pulled groin muscle. Excellent receivers. Billy White Shoes Johnson very much back after the severe knee operations, and an outstanding offensive line. Leon Gray has been the key man at left tackle, 8-year pro out of Jackson State. And Stabler to throw on first down, and he completes. Billy Johnson stopped by the right quarterback Ken Riley, the 12-year pro out of Florida A&M. And looking at that Cincinnati defensive unit, they go out of the 3-4 with Edwards, Whitley, and Browner. Browner having an excellent season, a bounce-back year. The linebackers, Dinkle, Leclerc, Cameron, and Williams. The deep men, O'Reilly and Griffin, and Wright and Jerome. First down for the Oilers. This is Carpenter. Could not turn the corner. Rob Carpenter coming off a tremendous day last week against the Baltimore Colts. 14 yards on the ground. Combination of Bo Harris, outside linebacker, and the inside man, number 55, Jim Leclerc, making the stop. Advance of 1, a 2nd and 9 for Houston at their 48-yard line. Houston Oilers lost the opener in Pittsburgh 31-17. Won in Cleveland on a Monday night 16-7. Controlling the football an amazing 42 minutes. This is Carpenter again. Just a short pickup. Well, we talked on NFL 80 about that improved Cincinnati defensive unit. They were dead last in the AFC last year, and they are number 3 this season.
Cincinnati defense that time really defensed the point of attack, and Rob Carpenter tried to cut back on the flow, but they were really there. That's one advantage that the 34 really gives you, Marv. It gives you a lot of players to the play.
It is a 3rd and 7 out at midfield, and Cincinnati to a 4-3. And Stabler loses the football. We'll have to see if the play was whistled dead. It was. So Stabler was sacked by Eddie Edwards, the 4-year veteran out of Miami of Florida. And the hand for the Cincinnati Bengal defensive unit.
They got great penetration that time. Eddie Edwards coming from the outside just drove his man deep. See Browner here just driving Leon Gray straight back, and Leon never got a chance to set up. There's Eddie Edwards just coming, just drove his man also straight back. Kenny Stabler had nowhere to go with it.
Cliff Parsley, who is known as a directional punter, will try to do just that. That is Cleotha Montgomery as the deep man. He is the brother of the Philadelphia Eagles running star Wilbert Montgomery. Good hang time by Parsley. And Montgomery lets it fly by. Takes a Houston hop and is down.
What a place to start off on offense. 2-yard line.
48-yard punt by that man, number 18, Cliff Parsley. And Jeff Bruce, second-year man out of Bowling Green, able to put it down at the 1, but a penalty marker on the field. And the officials talk it over. The referee today is Ben Bright. The umpire, Bob Boylston. The headlinesman is Dale Williams. The line judge, Bill Reynolds. The back judge, Stan Jabby. Side judge is Ed Ward. And the field judge, Pat Millett. Holding indicated by Tom Dinkle of the Cincinnati Bengals. Just trying to lend a hand to the officials.
Before the kick.
A holding penalty called on Houston before the punt. There he is, number 52, the man who did the holding, Robert Brazil.
He's trying to keep his man from going downfield. Of course, to get set up the return. He's trying to get downfield in a hurry. This is really a rough time right now for the Houston Oilers, because they had a great field position. They had him inside the 5-yard line. So this could be a great break for Cincinnati. The receivers back out to 20-yard line.
So it's a do-over for Cliff Parsley, who has that 48-yard punt erased. Again, Montgomery, the deep man, and again, good hang time. And Montgomery calls for the fair catch at the 12. And that's where the Bengals will go to the offense for the first time today. Another good punt by Parsley, 46 yards. And we'll be back with the Cincinnati offensive thrust after this. Cincinnati head coach Forrest Gregg, who last week was presented with the game ball for his first ever Cincinnati victory, taking over the club this season and looking to turn it around from 2 consecutive 4 and 12 years. Jack Thompson, the throwing Samoan, is the quarterback. The running backs, Charles Alexander, who gets the call, and Pete Johnson. Archie Griffin not starting. He is a question mark for today because of a combination of tendonitis in his ankle and bruised ribs. Art Springer, the left side inside linebacker, making the stop.
Here we can see Anthony Munoz, the #1 draft choice, getting into Elvin Bethea. Stands him up and gets a good block there. Old Elvin's going to have his hands full today.
3-yard pickup here, second and first down for the Cincinnati Bengals. Art Springer making the stop on the play as Jack Thompson able to connect with the tight end, Dan Ross, on his first passing attempt. Archie Griffin, Pete Johnson are the running backs. And the receivers, Isaac Curtis, a true game breaker, along with Bass and Ross. And there's that offensive line with Munoz, the man who has been talked about right throughout the early portion of the NFL schedule. Certainly a leading candidate for AFC Rookie of the Year honors. Face mask penalty indicated now against the Cincinnati Bengals.
Compounds the problems that the Cincinnati Bengals are going to have here. They're deep in their own territory. A definite passing down, and here come the Oilers.
So the ball is placed back at the 11. It's a second down and 16 for Cincinnati. An unusual face mask penalty picked up by the offense. Thompson tried to make the turn, but could not. And that play was designed for the quarterback, Jack Thompson, but Greg Bingham was there, able to diagnose it perfectly.
Jack Thompson that time just tucked the ball under his arm. There was no idea to pass on that.
Houston, of course, out of the 3-4, and Ken Kennard starting in place of Curly Cope at middle guard. Excellent group of linebackers, Washington, Stringer, Bingham, and Brazil. J.C. Wilson and Greg Stembrick in the corners. Mike Reinfeld, who led the National Football League with 12 interceptions a year ago, and Vernon Perry, who had a tremendous rookie season. It's a 3rd and 15 back at the 7. This is Pete Johnson looking to get the Bengals out of the hole, out to the 11. Kennard, number 71, there to make the stop. And so the Bengals will be forced to punt.
That's probably one of the best calls you can make in that position, Marv. You know they're really coming after you. You got a chance to break it out to the secondary because they're trying to get deep. If he had broke through the first set of line, he might have gone a long way.
All right, Pat McAnally will punt from his end zone. And he's averaging 41.5. Carl Roches back in single safety. Roches, a rookie out of Texas A&M. We are early minutes from Riverfront in Cincinnati. No score between the Bengals and the Oilers. Down through the years, Cincinnati has always played Houston very tough, although Houston has won 5 of the last 6. Good kick by McAnally. Here is Roches. And Roches gets out to midfield. Carl Roches, the oldest rookie in the NFL at 26 years of age. And we'll be back with... So Ken Stabler is now 9 for his last 11. This drive starting at the 50-yard line. The running backs are Tim Wilson and Rob Coppinger. And Wilson picks up short yardage on the play. Tim Wilson, one of the outstanding blocking backs in the game last week, came on, rushed for 85 yards against the Baltimore Colts.
On that play, Wilson Whitley actually overplayed the play. He hit into his nose man really well, controlled him. Carl Malk is the 75 is Whitley. He controls him really well, and the back cut behind him. That's just an excellent play.
Picked up 2 on the play. It is a 2nd and 8 at the Cincinnati 48-yard line as they line up in the I. Rob Carpenter stopped by Bo Harris along with Reggie Williams, the outside linebackers. And the Cincinnati defensive unit continues to do the job. Giant Stadium at the Meadowlands. The Los Angeles Rams in front of the New York Giants 7-0. 1-yard run by Elvis Peacock. They are early first quarter. 1-yard advance, 3rd and 7 at the 47. And Stapler to the throw. And he's got the first down. Out of the backfield, Ronnie Coleman. Stopped by the free safety, Dick Geron.
I don't know if you saw the pressure that was put on Stabler in that situation, but the strong safety came on a late blitz. Stabler saw him and just stayed right in that pocket. That's what he does so well.
Ronnie Coleman, an outstanding pass receiver, has picked it up just inside the 40-yard line. So a 1st and 10 for Houston. 8 minutes and 50 seconds left in this first quarter. Stabler has completed 71% of his passes coming into today. Going the running route and a fumble by Wilson, and it's recovered by the Bengals. The rookie strong safety, Greg Wright, on the recovery. Tim Wilson coughing it up.
Greg Wright is getting an awful lot of acclaim here in Cincinnati. He was a late-round draft choice from Morehead State. He's really come on to play great football. We can see him here. He's cheating up in the line. He's shooting the line right here. The fumble's made right there. He's alert, dives on the ball, and it gives a great field position for the Cincinnati Bengals.
Well, the Cincinnati Bengals were all over the football last week with Pittsburgh fumbling 4 times and the Bengals taking advantage. And let's see what they can do right here. 1st and 10 at their 44-yard line. The fullback, Pete Johnson, out near midfield. And Ken Kennard, the middle guard, with the wraps around Johnson. There is number 47, Greg Bright, who has had an exceptional start in this, his rookie season. 5-yard pickup for Johnson. It is a 2nd and 5 at the 49. Don Bass out to the left. Isaac Curtis to the right. The tight end is Dan Ross. And it's Johnson again. 1-yard advance.
Ken Kennard filling in for Curly Culp has really got his hands filled in there. Number 71. We can see him here on Blair Bush. Comes off the ball trying to control, get to the side of the play where the action is. Makes a good play. He's got to read that right off the ball, Marv, and that's a tough thing to do. He's got not only control the center, but he's got to read the flow of which side the back is going to.
And Dave, we're told there's nothing wrong physically with Curly Culp. Bum Phillips just decided to make a change, so Kennard, 4-year veteran out of Angelo State, has drawn the assignment. 3rd down and 4. And Thompson unleashes for the first down and more. Charles Alexander coming out of the backfield and picks it up. Jack Tatum in as the nickel back with the stop on Alexander. It's a 1st down for Cincinnati at the Houston 40-yard line.
You see who he was hit by, Jack Tatum, the one-time Oakland Raider, number 28 now.
Is he as mean?
He looks real mean, but really he's a nice fellow when you really get to know him. He's a super nice fellow.
All right, 1st down at the 40. And this is Alexander again. Alexander with a good second effort, but loses on the play.
I was watching Blair Bush that time again on Ken Kennard, and Blair Bush really drove Ken Kennard off the ball. As Kennard was trying to make his move strong side to go with the action, Blair Bush kept his legs going and actually drove Ken Kennard, cut him off, and knocked him on the ground. That's an excellent job for a center.
And a 3-yard loss for a 2nd and 13 for the Bengals. And Thompson completes to Pete Johnson, but just does get back to the line of scrimmage. That's it. Covered up by Greg Bingham, number 54, the right side inside linebacker. Well, they spotted at the 39. So it'll be a 3rd and 9 upcoming for the Bengals.
Got a picture of Curly Culp standing over there. I know he's not happy standing on a sideline. He's a great competitor. In his 13th year from Arizona State, just a great competitor. He's played tremendous football for an awful lot of years.
And over the years, considered as one of the strongest men in the National Football League. Cincinnati goes 3 wide receivers, 3rd and 9. And Thompson with good protection, able to swing it. This is Johnson, but he's short of the first down. Well, we'll have to see where they mark it.
He might have gotten it, Marv.
Yes, apparently right at the yard line marker, it is a first down.
Jack Thompson there sees 46. Pete Johnson coming out of the backfield. Now Pete sees that flag as he's coming upfield, lowers his shoulder trying to get to the flag. Could have had a face mask penalty on that play.
So Jack Thompson has done very well once again. Last Sunday came on for Ken Anderson and hit 9 of 18 for 122 yards. Anderson going out again with that left knee injury. Thompson has a first down at the Houston 29 with scoreless first period. This time the handoff to Johnson. Able to unravel through that left side. And Pete Johnson, the 5-year man out of Ohio State, running very well here in this first quarter. Stopped by the weak safety, Mike Reinfeld.
Cincinnati is in this situation trying to hit where the holes are in the 34 defense. The most vulnerable positions are over both guards. If you can get the center man to move either direction, you've got a natural hole to come on. And that's what Cincinnati is attacking.
It is a 2nd and 4 off the 6-yard pickup at the Houston 23. People have been talking about the ball control of the Oilers. Well, the Bengals controlling the football here in the first quarter. And again, it's Johnson. Beautiful fake by the quarterback, Jack Thompson. Robert Brazil able to make the stop, and a first down picked up by Johnson once again.
Here's Robert Brazil, number 52. He's actually pushed back, but he does get into the play. But really, that's consequential right there. It really doesn't make that much difference. Pete Johnson's quite a load coming off the ball. He's short from Ohio State, got a lot of weight, and they really got the Houston Oilers really falling backwards.
Isaac Curtis is out to the left side. Don Bass to the right. Running backs Alexander and Johnson. And it's Johnson again inside the 15-yard line.
Cincinnati continues to do this. They're going to demoralize the Houston Oilers. I don't know whether they're running at them any one particular place, but they are demoralizing as they're just driving the ball down the field.
Greg Bingham making the stop as Bum Phillips looks on, and he is looking at a defensive unit in the Houston Oilers that is spending more time on the field than they have become accustomed to this season. 2nd and 5 at the 13-yard line. 3 minutes, 20 seconds remaining in the scoreless first quarter. This time Alexander for just a couple. Charles Alexander was submarined by the combination of Bingham and Stringer.
Here comes the situation, 3rd down and 5 yards. A young quarterback, Jack Thompson. Fortunately, his plays are coming in from the bench and he doesn't have to call them. But the wily old veteran of Ken Stabler would have a great play on this, I'll tell you right now.
Well, Thompson has a 3rd and 4 as you look at Ken Anderson, who did practice all week with a brace over to that twisted left knee. Thompson is making only his 2nd start. And Thompson completes for the touchdown. Don Bass with a beautifully executed play. The Bengals lead it 6-0.
That was an excellent pass. Thrown in, he was covered well, but Bass really came up with just a fine reception, and the ball was right on his fingertips. It couldn't have been a better thrown ball. I don't care if he had been a 15-year veteran. There's Thompson dropping back. He sees a little bit of pressure, but right there is the ball right exactly where he wanted to throw it.
Don Bass, a 3-year man out of the University of Houston with his 3rd touchdown reception, beating Greg Stemrick. And now here is Ian Sunter putting it right through. So with 2 minutes and 37 seconds remaining in this first quarter, the Cincinnati Bengals with a sustained drive take a 7-0 lead on the Houston Oilers. Jack Thompson, 4 for 4, leading the Cincinnati Bengals to the touchdown, completing the 12-yard pass. And here's the kickoff from Sumter. This is Jeff Groth, second-year man out of Bowling Green. And Groth out to the 30. Penalty marker is down as Groth is run out of bounds by Ray Griffin. But a flag is down.
It's almost always a bad flag in that situation because it's most likely on the receiving team. A clip or a hold.
Dave, we were talking about the ball control as you see the holding indication against Houston. The Bengals utilizing 6:01 in this first quarter to go 11 plays for 56 yards and take a 7-0 lead.
That really helps out your defense also, Marv, because they're not on the field.
Holding number 88 on the return.
It's Rich Castor, the backup tight end, and that is not a happy Bum Phillips that you just saw on the sideline. With his Oilers trailing by the score 7-0, and they go 1st and 10 at the 16. The Detroit Lions leading Minnesota 7-0. Danielson hitting David Hill on a 3-yard pass play. They are in the first quarter. Art Stabler on the play action, going sideline and completes for the first down and more. Ken Stabler combining with Rich Castor. Ken Riley, number 13, the right cornerback, making the stop.
See, Stabler stops back here and sets up, and he's got Castor wide open. He's just got to loft the ball a little bit to Richard Castor. Makes a fine catch. Number 88 is out of bounds, and they're out of trouble also, Marv. They're out around almost the 40-yard line, whereas before they were deep in their territory.
Chicago Bears leading the Pittsburgh Steelers 3-0. Pittsburgh losing last week to the Cincinnati Bengals. Tampa Bay in front of Cleveland. Down to Tampa Bay with Sam Nover and Bob Crumpy on hand for NBC. Again, Stabler goes sideline and again able to complete it out of the 45-yard line. Mike Renfro, the wide receiver, stopped by the combination of Glenn Cameron and Ray Griffin.
Stabler's not getting any pressure. He's just a little fade play action there. Renfro is wide open. I think I probably could have caught that one.
Well, Dave, let's not get crazy now.
Well, you can see there's no one around Renfro. He just does a short curl. He's got his hands up saying, hey, throw me it. And Stabler puts it right there.
Stabler's favorite receiver, in contrast to the days of Dan Pastorini, has been the tight end Mike Bobber. So we'll look for him to go that way shortly. Here's Carpenter with just a short pickup.
I noticed one thing about the Houston Oilers, and that's that they haven't changed their running plan. They still are running the same plays that they run with or without Earl Campbell. And Rob Carpenter certainly has picked it up for the missing Earl Campbell.
Last week against Baltimore, when Campbell went out and Wilson and Carpenter came on, and Wilson particularly did very well, the Baltimore Colts said, well, we weren't prepared to face a club that would rely on the running game of Tim Wilson. Which makes me wonder, why aren't they prepared for that? Because Campbell is a guy who obviously can get hurt well with all the time he carries the ball. Here's Carpenter. And he has picked up the first down. Reggie Williams, outside linebacker on the right, number 57. Stopping that man, number 26. The 4-year pro out of Miami of Ohio, Rob Carpenter. Buffalo in front of Oakland by the score of 7-0. That could be a shootout as the afternoon progresses. And as we mentioned, Detroit leads Minnesota. Touchdown pass by Danielson. Right here, only 25 seconds left in the first quarter. And the Bengals lead at 7-0. Houston first down at midfield. Stabler off the fake. Again, it's Renfro, who took a hard pop from the left cornerback, Ray Griffin, who, of course, is the brother of the injured Archie Griffin. Ray, a 3-year veteran out of Ohio State.
This is going to bring up a 2nd and 1 situation, the prime situation for Kenny Stabler. As far as comparing a team preparing for Earl Campbell, you so prepare, the defense so prepared for Earl Campbell, it's just hard not to utilize him and not to just key on him.
All right, first quarter has come to a close with the score, Cincinnati 7 and Houston nothing. With former Oakland Raider Dave Rowe, this is Marv Albert as we look at Earl Campbell, who is called a question mark, although he may see some action later on. Bum Phillips had said, well, if we really need him. Right now, the Oilers are down by the score of 7-0 off the play action on 2nd and 2. Stabler picks up the first down by completing to the fullback, Tim Wilson.
Marv,
Bright, the strong safety, running Wilson out of bounds.
Marv, as we had said earlier, anytime a defensive team prepares the way you have to against Earl Campbell, it's quite a psychological letdown when he doesn't play, as it was last week for the Baltimore Colts.
And there is Earl, who ran the ball only 11 times last week against Pittsburgh.
I'd like to have him just on my sideline.
Can be an imposing, intimidating figure. Stabler is now 7 for 8. Wilson goes nowhere. And that Cincinnati defensive unit continues to look sharp. Number 57, Reggie Williams, outside linebacker on the right with the hard hit. Williams, a 5-year veteran out of Dartmouth. Up front, Edwards, Whitley, Browner. The linebackers, Williams, Cameron, LeClaire, Harris, Griffin, Riley, Bright, and Duran are the deep men. It is a 2nd and 10 for Houston at the 38-yard line. White Shoes Johnson out to the left side, and they are packed in tight. Wilson and Carpenter, the running backs, and as you can see, lots of movement and penalty markers all over the field.
Motion against Houston. They were coming up in a 3-point stance, and whether Stabler was going to go on a quick count, I don't know. But as he's sitting in a 3-point stance, the defense yells out something, and all of a sudden they just jump up.
Looked to be the left tackle, Leon Gray, and the left guard, Bob Young, who is in a starting role instead of David Carter. It'll be a 2nd and 15 back at the 38.
Cincinnati's gone to a 4-man rush now, 4 down linemen.
And Stabler looked to throw it short, batted down by Ross Browner, number 79. And a hand for Browner. Stabler was looking to hit the safety valve, Tim Wilson. But Browner, who goes 6'3", 261, and who has played exceptionally well, looking to bounce back from a disappointing year, getting a piece of it, and it is now a 3rd and 15 for the Oilers.
Certainly puts the pressure on Kenny Stabler in this position.
Last week, only one of Stabler's passes was not caught. He completed 18, 2 were intercepted, so only 1 hit the ground. Here's the 3rd and 15. Again a swing. It's Carpenter to the 40. And no more. Reggie Williams getting the wraps around Rob Carpenter, and again the Bengals stop the Houston Oilers.
Try and cut down on that pressure that time. They dropped the ball off with Carl Mock and a couple of linemen trying to get out in front of them. But Cincinnati was not fooled on that play.
Tremendous series for number 57, the outside linebacker, Reggie Williams. And Cliff Parsley will kick away. Forrest Gregg, head coach of Cincinnati, has to be happy with developments thus far. Cleotha Montgomery, the rookie out of Abilene Christian, is the deep man. And a directional punt by Parsley, but it carries too far, and it will be 1st and 10 at the 20-yard line, but a penalty marker was thrown down. So we'll see what the call is. 40-yard punt by Parsley.
Ineligible downfield.
Downfield on a kicking team, number 57, decline the penalty, 1st down on a 20-yard line.
57, John Corker, backup linebacker. The man assessed the penalty, and when we resume, Cincinnati will take over.
The Houston Oilers have changed their middle guard from Ken Kennard back to Curly Culp.
And it's a 1st down and 10 from the 20-yard line. This is Pete Johnson, who has run so well. He's knocking people over as he crosses the 30-yard line. And a 1st down. What a first half it's been for Pete Johnson, who goes 6 feet, about 250 pounds, and he is a running back.
He is a real load when he comes out there. You can see the thighs he's got as he makes some of the moves. He's just a big running back, and you can see that time when the defensive back came up and hit him, he was in for a jolt.
picked up 12 yards, so Pete Johnson now has gone 39 yards on 7 carries. Nathan Poole, number 35, has come on, replacing Charles Alexander in that Cincinnati backfield. Poole, a second-year man out of Louisville, and gets the call, but goes nowhere. Loss on the play. Right now, let's go to NFL 80 and Brian Gumbel in New York.
Thank you, Marv Albert. At Buffalo's Rich Stadium, the Bills have taken a 14-0 lead from the 1-yard line. Joe Cribbs takes it in. Buffalo in the second quarter out in front of Oakland, 14-0. They're trying to go 4-0. Let's go back to Cincinnati.
Thank you, Brian. 2nd and 10, and Thompson bumped from behind, goes incomplete, intended for Nathan Poole. Poole is only 5'8", 205 pounds. You're looking at Ted Washington, the outside linebacker, on the left side, involved in the coverage. It is a 3rd and 10 now for the Cincinnati Bengals. So Jack Thompson, the throw-in Samoan, is now 4 for 5 for 36 yards.
The Houston Oilers have got to get more pressure on Jack Thompson. As it was evidenced in that first quarter when he threw that perfect touchdown pass, he's going to hit their receivers so they don't get pressure on him.
It is a 3rd and 10. Back at the 31-yard line. Thompson in trouble, able to get it off. Johnson out of the backfield, but short of a first down. He continues to knock people over. J.C. Wilson, the left quarterback, was able to trip him up. And so the Bengal drive has been stopped. And they will punt. Pat McInally will come on for the 2nd time this afternoon.
Jack Thompson that time was under a lot of pressure, but boy, he really held in there well. Dumped the ball off to Pete Johnson, who made a nice run. But that really showed me something on that series.
Here's Carl Roches, rookie out of Texas A&M. Had a tryout several years ago with Kansas City. Played briefly in Canada. Signed as a free agent at the age of 26 by Bum Phillips, the oldest rookie in the National Football League. And a good punt by McInally. Here is Roches out to the 15 and looking very gingerly at what he saw coming at him. A 51-yard punt by that man, Pat McInally. And the Houston Oilers will take over after this timeout. Houston from their 11-yard line. Bengals lead 7-0 on the reverse. Billy Whiteshoes looking for running room out to the 20. And he created on that play. He had nowhere to go. Whiteshoes Johnson coming around on the reverse and was stopped by the combination of Bo Harris and Ray Griffin. Pick up a 5. It'll be 2nd and 5 at the 21. Buffalo now leading Oakland 14-0. Minnesota and Detroit tied at 7 in the second quarter. Pittsburgh now in front of Chicago 10-3 after that early Bear field goal. And Tampa Bay over Cleveland 6-0. Good play action by Stabler, but overthrows intended for Johnson. Billy Johnson, the intended receiver. Ken Riley, Ray Griffin on the coverage. And that'll set up a 3rd down. At about 6-0, Ken Burrow, who is on the sidelines, injured player. And a guy that Stabler certainly misses. New Orleans leading Miami 3-0 in the second. And the Giants now trail the Los Angeles Rams 14-0 in the second quarter at Giant Stadium. There's a 3rd and 6 for Stabler, who has been handcuffed thus far. Unleashes, and it is caught. Tremendous concentration by Ronnie Coleman off the deflect. But wait a moment. The ball was picked off by the Bengals, stripping Coleman. Glenn Cameron involved. Cameron and LeClaire all over Coleman, who was able to play the deflect and then lost it.
Stabler had a lot of time on that play. As he set back there, he had a lot of time to pass that ball. You can see him taking the snap back here. He wasn't getting a lot of pressure, just they were well covered. He ends up throwing the ball out here, and really it should have been intercepted right there. It was a tremendous catch right there. But then to give it right back up, I think he just got the ball stripped out. He did. He fumbled it, and I think Jim LeClaire came up with the ball.
It is LeClaire coming up with that loose football.
You know,
Last week in the upset win over Pittsburgh, the Bengals converted 6 Pittsburgh turnovers into 20 points. And another turnover here by Houston. So Jack Thompson takes over, first and 10 at the 45-yard line, and he's looking to go long on first down, but overthrows way downfield. Intended for Isaac Curtis in a foot race with J.C. Wilson. There is Isaac in his 8th year out of San Diego State. Really the key to the Cincinnati offense because he is a true game breaker.
We've talked a lot about Anthony Munoz being the #1 draft choice. That time he was sure happy that he had Dave Lapham playing next to him because he picked up Munoz here is getting beat by one of the great pros, 65 Elton Bethea. You see him getting beat inside and Lapham was right there, or Jack Thompson would have had a real welcome.
2nd and 10 at the 45-yard line of Houston. 9.5 remaining in this first half, and the Bengals lead it by the score of 7-0. Now Curtis is out to the right side, and Thompson to throw again. He's got Curtis. Isaac Curtis stopped at the 37-yard line. And it's Robert Brazil, 6-year man out of Jackson State, making the tackle.
It's going to bring up 3rd down and 1. Isaac Curtis could have turned upfield, but in his efforts to get a little bit more yardage, gave off a couple yards trying to get around the corner to get more substantial yardage, so he gave up the first down, bringing up a 3rd down and 1 situation.
There you see Isaac Curtis only 9 yards away from reaching a 5,000-yard milestone. He's usually a slow starter. Didn't come out with a big game last week. Third about 1.5. And Pete Johnson, with a typical Pete Johnson move, looked like he picked it up. Greg Bingham in on the stop. Johnson took a hard hit and kept going.
Johnson that time took a whale of a shot from Greg Bingham, but still made the first down. I think if Bingham had followed through, he wouldn't have made it.
And we just received the indication. It is a first down for Cincinnati off this.
Here's Bingham filling into the hole 54, and he hits Johnson, but you can see Johnson slides off and gets the first down, and he didn't make it by very much.
It is a first down for Cincinnati at the Houston 34-yard line. The Bengals come in at 1 up and 2 down. Lost at home to Tampa Bay. Lost in Miami in a wild finish in which the Dolphins came from behind. And last week here upset Pittsburgh 30-28. Thompson throwing to the right. And a great catch by the tight end, Dan Ross. A first down and much more inside the 15-yard line. Ross beating the outside linebacker, Ted Washington.
Dan Ross made a fantastic catch, a one-hand catch. See Thompson here sets up a little play action to Pete Johnson, throws the ball out here. Now look at Ross. We have one hand out here, catches the ball. Excellent concentration, great hands. I'll tell you, he's quite a player. 2nd year only from Northeastern.
Great hands or lots of stickum or a combination.
The old Freddie Bolitnikoff tree sap.
It's a 21-yard pickup. First down at the 13-yard line. Charles Alexander to the 11. That'll set up a 2nd and 8. Art Stringer, inside linebacker on the left, making the stop.
You know, as we look at the Cincinnati offense, their line is very, very young in 2nd, 3rd, and 5th year. So they're gaining an awful lot of confidence by handling a team such as the Houston Oilers, who are highly touted on defense.
At the tackles, Anthony Munoz, Mike Wilson. At the guards, Glenn Buchnock, Max Montoya. The center is Blair Bush, and they have been doing the job. It is a 2nd and 8 at the 11. Here's Johnson on a trap, picked up a couple. Pete Johnson, a powerful runner with good speed for a big man. Stopped by the combination of Curly Culp and Mike Stensrud. Ball is placed inside the 9. And it's a 3rd and about 5 coming up. Thompson, incidentally, Dave, is now 7 for 9 for 72 yards. He has had an excellent first half.
More important than that is Cincinnati has controlled the ball, something that Houston has been able to do in all their previous games.
They controlled it for 6 minutes in the first half, leading to the touchdown drive, and now the Bengals want to talk it over with 6:37 remaining in the first half, and Jack Thompson's Bengals leading it 7-0. Off the upset of Pittsburgh last week, they lead Houston 7-0. 12-yard pass play. Thompson and Bass making it 7-0 late first quarter. Ronnie Coleman off a pass reception from Ken Stabler, coughing it up. The recovery made by Jim LeClaire, and right now 3rd and 5 for the Bengals down at the 9-yard line. It's Curtis in motion. Off the play action. Thompson in trouble, able to get it away and throws it out of the end zone.
That was a very dangerous pass that time Jack Thompson threw. M.L. Harris coming out of tight end delay, cut across the field and looked open, and if Jack Thompson hadn't been pressured so much, he might have had a chance to throw it to him, but he got extreme pressure. You can see there M.L. Harris coming across, and he's open.
Elvin Bethea putting the pressure on Thompson, and now a field goal attempt upcoming from the 16-yard line. So it's a 26-yard attempt for Ian Sunter, who is 4 for 7 on the season. And Sunter puts it right through from 26 yards out. So he is a hot man. He missed early last week against Pittsburgh. Came through with the game winner with 2.5 minutes to go. And right now, the Bengals surprisingly in front of the Houston Oilers 10-0. All right, Brian, as far as Greg looking to put an end to the recent success of Bum Phillips over his Cincinnati Bengals, this is Jeff Groth on the kickoff return out to the 30-yard line. Hit down by Dick Geron. And so the Oilers will go to work with 6:19 remaining in this first half. Well, NBC brought it to television first. The spectacular plays, the memorable moments, and the World Series is back where it belongs, beginning October 14th in prime time. Next week, Philadelphia and Montreal, and Houston and Los Angeles, as those pennant races go right down the stretch. What a series this weekend in Philadelphia. And of course, the Astros and the Dodgers battling it out in the National League West. All right here on NBC. First down at the 30 for Stabler. And he completes it. Billy Johnson out to the 40-yard line with first down territory. Glenn Cameron, Jim LeClaire combining to make the stop. Oddly, Dave, Stabler today has not gone for the tight end Mike Barber, perhaps expecting that the Bengals are looking for that. Barber had been his favorite receiver. He scored 14 for 173 yards.
Well, evidently Cincinnati is defensing him because he is such a prime target.
Well, they spotted it at the 39, so it's short a yard. 2nd and 1 for Stabler. And he's able to complete for the first down. And yes, Mike Barber with his first reception of the day. Jim LeClaire, the inside linebacker on the left, making the stop. We're not calling plays up here.
I was wondering whether Kenny, the Snake Stabler, has a little microphone down there, could hear us, because he hadn't gone to Barber yet. Barber was wide open on a little curl pattern there. You see Barber, 86, coming off the line, drives Jim LeClaire deep and comes back for the ball. That's something that Stabler had great success with in the Oakland days.
There's Barber lining up. Stabler with time, this time to the running back Carpenter. And the Oilers look to be opening it up. Rob Carpenter picking up the first down. Greg Bright, rookie strong safety, making the stop.
On this series here, you certainly think that the Oilers are, the Oilers are getting more momentum. They've got to open up. They're 10 points down, and Stabler's a master of it.
17-yard pass play, and a first down for Houston at the Cincinnati 33-yard line. 4.5 left first half, and the Bengals lead it by the score of 10-0. They go slot left, Renfro in the slot. Stabler goes short again for Carpenter to the 30-yard line, inside the 30. Rob Carpenter, the 4-year veteran out of Miami of Ohio, last week 114 yards rushing, and it was the first Houston Oiler to pick up 100 yards since the addition of Earl Campbell to the ball club. You get the idea there may not be enough plays to distribute when you have a running back of the caliber of Campbell. 2nd and 6 for Houston at the 29-yard line. There you see the impressive Stabler stats, 12 out of 15. And Stabler completes to Renfro for another first down. Mike Renfro has been a primary target here this afternoon. Ray Griffin making the stop.
We've talked a lot about Ross Browner coming off the ball. An excellent football player for Cincinnati. Here, Leon Gray has got great control on him. You don't see Browner not even bothering Stabler. Leon Gray's got him stood up. Leon Gray, of course, came out of New England with that tandem with John Hanna. They were very successful there, and I'm sure they missed him in New England.
One of the great linemen of the game, Leon Gray, 13-yard advance, and it's a first down at the 16. Here's Tim Wilson trying the left side. Slow down and haul down. So Wilson not able to make the turn. Ross Browner on the stop. Edwards, Whitley, and Browner up front in the 3-4. Harris, LeClaire, Cameron, and Williams are the linebackers. The deep man at Griffin, Riley, Geron, and Bright. Right here, let's pause briefly for station identification. This is the NBC Television Network.
KPRC TV, Channel 2, Houston.
Marv Albert, Dave Rowe from Cincinnati. The Bengals lead the Oilers 10-0. Houston, though, on the move, 2nd and 9 down at the 15-yard line. And Stabler with a penalty flag down as Renfro was hammered in the corner by Ray Griffin.
I think Ray Griffin was guarding a little bit too close that time on Mike Renfro as he made his out pattern. Griffin was right there bumping him.
Contact, number 44. That's an automatic first down.
So Ray Griffin is called for that illegal contact, and it will be first down for Houston at the Cincinnati 11.
We've talked a lot about the Cincinnati line, but Houston Oilers have got a great line too, anchored by Carl Malk, a 12-year veteran out of Southern Illinois, who plays with tremendous amount of heart.
White Suze Johnson out to the left, and Renfro in the slot. Carpenter stacked up right at the line of scrimmage. Glenn Cameron, the right inside linebacker, combining with the outside man, Bo Harris. And we are approaching the 2-minute mark. Here it is. So the 2-minute warning is provided, and we'll be back here at Riverfront in Cincinnati in just a moment. Of course, we are still very early. 2 minutes left, first half. Houston trailing by the score of 10-0. And Stabler has a 2nd and 8 down at the 9-yard line. Rob Carpenter right near the goal line. Dick Geron, the free safety, the outside linebacker, Reggie Williams, able to stop Carpenter as that ball is placed at the 1.
Rob Carpenter, number 26, comes on a flare pattern out, what we call a flare pattern, where he just runs straight out. Stabler doesn't look at anyone else. He sees Carpenter's got his linebacker beaten. He drops it to him. Carpenter just dives upfield. It's going to bring down a very interesting situation here because it's either going to be first down and goal to go, which it is, so it doesn't bring up the situation, but it's going to give them 3 chances to run the ball in there. Again, this is where Earl Campbell is just devastating.
Bum Phillips sending in a first-year running back out of Texas A&M, Andrew Armstrong, number 39. He will pack them up now in this first and goal from the 1. It's Armstrong, Carpenter, and Wilson. That's Armstrong peeling off. And it's recovered by the Cincinnati Bengals. Confusion on that handoff. Eddie Edwards, number 73, recovering the fumble by Tim Wilson.
What a play to juice up the old Cincinnati Bengals. Their defense came up with the ball, but there is a penalty flag down, which may change the situation. Could have been offsides. You can see Stabler here, he just messes up the handoff. The ball's just laying out there, no one can get to it. The flag is going to give the ball back to the Houston Oilers, and what a break for them. I was watching Kenny Stabler's action when the fumble was there, and very little emotion shown. He just has complete control all the time of the game.
They line up the same way. It's first and goal at the 1. This time Wilson peeling off. Ronnie Coleman walks it in. Big hole off the left side. So Bum Phillips took out the first-year man Asher Armstrong and sent in the veteran, Ronnie Coleman. And it's Coleman with the score, so the Bengals now lead it 10-6.
You can see where they went, right towards Leon Gray. They're all pro. Great hole there, Lon. He had no problem going through that hole. I think as big as I am now, I could have run through that one.
Wait a second, Dave. Once again, let's think about that.
Well, I'm only 285 pounds.
Ronnie Coleman, his first rushing touchdown since '78. Here is Tony Fritsch, who has been perfect this season. Backup quarterback Gifford Nielsen holding. And Fritsch puts it right through. A minute and 17 remaining in this first half. And the Houston Oilers on the board. They now trail 10-7. The preceding announcement furnished as a public service by the National Football League. Well, the long drive engineered by Ken Stabler, going 5 minutes and 10 seconds, 9 plays, 70 yards, 1 yard run by Coleman, bringing it home. And that line drive bouncer picked up by Cleotha Montgomery. Out across the 15-yard line. So the Cincinnati Bengals now will go to the offense with 1:12 remaining in this first half. Darrell Hunt in on the stop of Montgomery.
That touchdown run right there by Ronnie Coleman and the success of the Houston Oilers could bring them back defensively. I think defensively they were getting down a little bit because Cincinnati had been controlling the ball.
Cincinnati Bengals come in at 1 up and 2 down. The last time the Bengals won 2 straight games this early in the schedule, some 4 years ago. Keep in mind, this club 4-12 the last 2 seasons. Jack Thompson with 1st and 10 at the 16-yard line has Curtis out to the right side. And that's Pete Johnson, who has been a very busy man here in the first half. Curly Culp in on the stop. Timeout is called. Forrest Gregg being familiar with these people and bringing them in.
The feeling here in Cincinnati is that the team has adjusted to Forrest Gregg's type of coaching.
That's Curtis again peeling off. Off the long count. Isaac Curtis going nowhere. J.C. Wilson right in on the play. Both clubs have 2 timeouts left. With the double tight end, M.L. Harris has come on, so they have 4 receivers out there. Don Bass, Dan Ross, Isaac Curtis, and Harris. It is a 3rd and 2 for the Bengals at their 24. 56 seconds left first half. This is Johnson for a first down across the 35-yard line. Pete Johnson has been an all-purpose back here this afternoon.
The rush that Jack Thompson got that time was tremendous. I'll tell you, he is really showing me something for a young quarterback. He stayed in there until the last possible second, dumped the ball off to Pete Johnson, who made the first down, accomplished what they wanted to, but he took a heck of a shot here. You can see him right there dropping the ball off and gets a shot.
Pete Johnson had a big game last season against Houston. In the earlier game, rushed for 113 yards. Has a first down at the 37-yard line. Another dump-off pass, a hard hit on Charles Alexander by Art Stringer with 40 seconds remaining of the half. Ken Kennard is back in at middle guard, replacing Curly Culp. And here is the 2nd and 2. And it's Alexander fooling the Oilers. Beautiful misdirection by Charles Alexander. And a first down. An immediate timeout. Out of Washington State. 3rd player selected in the 1979 draft. It's taken over for the injured Ken Anderson. First down at the 44. Isaac Curtis overthrow. He had Johnson as the safety valve short and Curtis deep.
He had Isaac Curtis all the way open. Jack Thompson is upset with himself as he sits back here. He had Isaac Curtis on a turnout pattern at about 17 yards, and he just overthrew him. You can see how wide open Isaac Curtis was there. He must have given a great fake to elude the defensive corner like that.
It is a 2nd and 10 for the Bengals at the Houston 44, 28 seconds remaining first half, and Cincinnati leading 10-7. They do not have any timeouts left. And Thompson in trouble. Penalty marker down. It is deflected. It was intended way downfield for M.L. Harris, but a penalty marker thrown down.
Holding offense number 74.
Number 74, the left guard, Glenn Bujnak, called for the hold.
That's an awful tough position for an offensive lineman to be in, knowing that you're going to pass the ball. The defense knows that you're going to pass the ball. And sometimes those little offensive linemen just happen to get their hands a little wider than what they should be.
You say that so diplomatically as a one-time defensive tackle. 2nd and 21. Back at the Cincinnati 45. Only 22 seconds left in this first half. Pete Johnson. Crowd does not like the call. Robert Brazil on the tackle. Of course, fans would like to see Thompson put it up in the air, but Forrest Gregg obviously does not want to play giveaway here in the final seconds.
Not having a timeout really hurt them in that situation, as they didn't have, even if they completed the pass, they would never have been able to get another play off.
So time has run out in this first half, and the Cincinnati Bengals lead the Houston Oilers by the score of 10-7. Bum Phillips looking to make it 6 out of 7 against the Cincinnati Bengals. He has had much success in recent years after coming over to Houston. Cleotha Montgomery returning for the Cincinnati Bengals across the 25-yard line. Ronnie Coleman, and on special teams, making the stop.
A lot has been said about Hollywood Henderson, their new acquisition this week. You can see him running down the field. He's in his 6th year, and he comes down, gets into the action, and really has a big part of the play right there. He stopped the man, and they've got good field position. They're going to be, I'll tell you, I think he's going to be a good player for the Houston Oilers. I think he's made the transition and realizes that this is the place he wants to play.
Well, he says now that as a Houston Oiler, he is Thomas Humble Henderson. In San Francisco, they were calling him Holiday Henderson because he rarely made a practice session. First down at the 27-yard line, and Pete Johnson, who has been a very busy guy, gets the call. Elvin Bethea makes the tackle.
It's really important for the Houston Oilers to come out here and to stop the Cincinnati Bengals. If they don't come out and stop them right away, again, it's going to be a long afternoon. Because Cincinnati dominated the first half.
2-yard pickup for Johnson, who now has carried 12 times for 51 yards. Off the draw, it's Charles Alexander going nowhere. Robert Brazil, Ted Washington combining on the stop. Leading ground gainer for Houston in the first half, Rob Carpenter, 6 carries, only 12 yards. Yes, they do miss a fellow by the name of Earl Campbell, who of course helps to set up that passing game. A 3rd and about 6 out at the 32-yard line. Don Bass, number 84, to the left. Pete Johnson, Charles Alexander on the running backs. Almost intercepted, intended for 86, Steve Kreider, 2nd-year man out of Lehigh. Carter Hardwick got a piece of it.
We've been watching Anthony Munoz, the first-year offensive player for the Cincinnati Bengals. That time, his man didn't get into the play, but he sure bowled over him. Munoz is really known for his strength, and you can see Jesse Baker just coming right in there and just bowling over him.
Now here's Pat McAnally. His 3rd punt of the afternoon. Carl Roaches, the deep man, rookie out of Texas A&M. Good punt by McAnally. Here's Roaches out of the 30 with blockers to the 40. And a penalty marker down as he hits the 45-yard line. Good return by Roaches. A 41-yard punt by McAnally.
Foul, Clippy, number 39 on the run back.
As I was saying, as he turns to run to the play, the wall is set up and they've got just a whale of a shot at him. He never sees the block.
Personal foul called on and Adger Armstrong of Houston. Marv Albert, Dave Rowe from Riverfront in Cincinnati. The Bengals leading Houston 10-7. Crowd urging the Cincinnati defense on. Houston takes over, first down at the 22-yard line, and Stabler to throw on first down, and he completes it. Rob Carpenter coming out of the backfield, stopped by the right inside linebacker. Glenn Cameron, 6-year veteran out of the University of Florida. Ball is placed down at the 28-yard line, a 6-yard advance. And it is a 2nd and 4 for Stabler and Houston. Stabler is now 15 out of 18. They have been of the short variety once again. His longest completion this afternoon was 23 yards. Renfro is to the right, Johnson left. Carpenter. Stopped by Cameron. And right near the first down marker. We'll have to see where that forward progress was stopped.
Looks like it's going to be a 3rd down and about a yard to go. It's going to bring up an interesting situation. Does Stabler go to the air to try to catch Cincinnati by surprise, or does he continue with the ground game?
It is a 3rd, and we'll call it 1. Outside the 31-yard line, Tim Wilson, Rob Carpenter are the running backs. That's Armstrong peeling, and here's Carpenter on the slant, and it will be very close.
There's a great surge there by the Cincinnati defense. They are playing good defense, as we've mentioned before. Good flow to the play at the point of attack. I think if he made it, he just barely made it.
Ross Browner and Glenn Cameron leading that surge. Another outstanding game for Browner, the 3rd-year pro out of Notre Dame. And it is a first down as we check the scoreboard. Now the Rams just clobbering the Giants. It is 28-0 in the 3rd quarter. Elvis Peacock just went over from 4 yards out. First down for Houston at their 32. The trailing 10-7. We're early 3rd quarter. Stabler goes sideline. And able to complete. It's Carpenter again. Reggie Williams makes the stop.
An interesting thing this time, I was watching Carl Malk, number 55, the center. He's the only player on the Houston Oilers to wear black shoes, and I happened to ask him about it. As you see him here against Wilson Whitley. He's got good protection right there, Stabler does. But I was asking Malk about his black shoes, and he said, I'm not changing until I get out of the league.
Yeah. Of course, the Cincinnati Bengals can talk about the dress code. They were fined last week for droopy socks.
So was Carl Malk for a T-shirt that was hanging out.
Fined by the National Football League. 2nd and 3. Rob Carpenter able to get away on the delay and picks up the first down. Lewis Breeden coming up from left cornerback, able to make the tackle. It is a first down for the Houston Oilers.
This is an excellent play selection. You see Rob Carpenter's got a hole right there, and he just turns and you get a good block back by Mike Barber there. But an interesting thing right here is that Ross Browner was running step for step with him. He must have some excellent speed. But that was an excellent play selection by Stabler.
And it's a 12-yard pickup. There are the black shoes.
I wore them for 13 years, and he just picked up on it.
All right, first down at the 47-yard line. Another jump pass, and that was thrown into heavy traffic and is ruled incomplete. A hard hit by the combination of Bright and Williams on Carpenter, who was really jarred.
He was really hit on that play. He never really had time to get the ball in before he was thrown in traffic. I think Stabler was, well, I know Stabler was under some pressure, so he dumped it off trying to get it to Rob Carpenter on a short one, but Carpenter really never got control of the ball before he was hit.
And Rob being attended to by Houston Oilers training staff. He took a tremendous jolt. Rob Carpenter is a difficult guy to tackle, both as a receiver and as a runner. Very, very deceptive.
His pass catching ability coming out of the backfield is really an extra added feature for Kenny Stabler. One interesting thing about Kenny Stabler is that he will continually ask his backs what they think they can do, and their wide receivers, what they can do against their man. This is an option that he has as an experienced quarterback over someone, say, like Jack Thompson.
Stabler now 16 for 20, 158 yards. 2nd and 10 at the 47. Stabler able to complete once again. It is short of a first down. Johnson fell down after the reception, and Bo Harris able to cover up.
Certainly looks like Billy White Shoes Johnson has come back from that severe knee injury, which curtailed his career for 2 years. He looks very, very good on those in patterns, coming down 8 to 10 yards and cutting on a slant. But by the time Stabler gets back and sets up 7 yards deep, Johnson is made to cut and is wide open.
It took some intensive rehabilitation on the part of White Shoes to make it back after several problems with his knees. It is a 3rd and 2 at the 45. And a beautiful catch made by Johnson. Ken Riley on the stop. And it is a first down for Houston.
That's a picture-perfect play. Billy White Shoes Johnson came off and drove his defensive corner deep, made the out pattern, and as he made the out pattern, the ball was coming right to him. It was just a perfectly timed play.
So Houston now in their ball control offense and moving in very methodical fashion. 8:20 remaining in this 3rd quarter. Houston trailing 10-7, but they now have a first down at the 36. And Stabler turned around and hauled on. They stripped the football, but the whistle had blown. Bo Harris able to grab the football out of the hands of Stabler, but the whistle had blown.
That's where the early sack rule really has helped the Houston Oilers in that situation. The early sack rule being that the quarterback, when he is in the grasp of a wide receiver, of a defensive tackle, is immediately down.
And you just saw that very impressive Cincinnati defensive record.
Here Stabler sets back. You can see the pressure from the outside. They sent about the whole schoolyard there, and they just stole the ball out of his hands, and off he goes. Thank goodness for the early sack rule for the Houston Oilers.
And on the sack, loss of 10. It's a 2nd and 20 now for Stabler, looking deep and in trouble, but able to get it off. Just threw it away that time. Just wanted to prevent another sack. Tremendous pressure by the combination of Eddie Edwards and Wilson Whitley.
Cincinnati is really coming off the ball in this situation. They're bringing 4 down linemen, but the coverage is a thing that has really picked up for the Cincinnati Bengals. They're covering the man. Stabler doesn't have anybody to go to.
Extra defensive back Brian Hicks has come on. They'll go on a 4-3. It's a 3rd and 20. Now more changes are being made. Hicks went to the sideline. Incomplete and picked off. Number 53, Bo Harris. Off the arm of Ronnie Coleman. So 2 critical turnovers conserving Coleman, but a penalty marker is thrown down.
But again, that flag's in a bad area. It's in the offensive holding area. No, wait a minute. It's going against Cincinnati.
And we'll wait for the call from the referee, Ben Wright.
Leon Gray was so excited he ran over and picked up the flag for the referee. Yeah. He was happy about that one.
Illegal use of the hands on number 57 on the defense. That's an automatic first down.
There he is, Reggie Williams. 5-year man out of Dartmouth. Outside linebacker on the right who had an outstanding first half. But a critical penalty right here, so that eliminates the interception. And it's an automatic first down at the 41-yard line. As you can hear, the crowd does not like the call. Tim Wilson and the fullback picks up yardage on the play. Tripped up by the combination of LeClaire and Cameron, the inside linebackers. It's a 4-yard advance, 2nd and 6 for Houston. at the 37-yard line. Well, that a big break. The penalty called on Reggie Williams. Ronnie Coleman had fumbled in the first half, leading to the field goal by Ian Santa to give the Bengals a 10-7 lead. That is the tight end, Mike Barber, only his second reception of the day, and he's picked up the first down, chased out by the right cornerback, Ken Riley. Of course, in Oakland, as you are well aware, Dave, Ken Stabler had his favorite target in tight end, David Casper.
Well, Mike Barber here is one of the highly respected tight ends in professional football. It was a great play right there. It was actually it looked like a shield play. When I say shield play, one man, the wide receiver, Billy Johnson, runs his man deep. Barber comes underneath.
It's a 14-yard pass play. Dan Pastorini would not throw to Mike Barber as frequently as Stabler has. Now Stabler going for run throw, and it's battled away. Lewis Breeden, number 34, able to break it up.
Cincinnati is definitely trying to disrupt Kenny Stabler now. They're bringing a lot of men up in the line, giving him a lot of different looks on defense, not knowing who's going to come after him. Here we see Mike Renfro on a crossing pattern going towards the post. He's open, but the ball is awful high. Just went over his head. It was just a pass that I guess he just didn't have enough time to throw.
It'll be a 2nd and 10 for Houston at the Cincinnati 23-yard line. 6:49 left, third quarter. The Bengals lead at 10-7. That's Renfro in motion. White shoes Johnson inside the 20. Wilson Whitley, the nose tackle, over to make the play.
Billy Johnson took a good shot on that ball, which again will build his confidence with the prior knee problems that he has had. Stabler's really doing a good job of mixing up his plays right now, trying again to keep Cincinnati off guard. They're in 3-down, 4-down position on the 17-yard line. Looks like they're going to come out of this with something. They're trying to at least get 3. They don't want to make the mistake right now and lose it.
Picked up 6 on the Johnson reception. It is a 3rd and 4 for Houston. They go slot left. That's Renfro in the slot. Here's Tim Wilson. Gets inside the 15-yard line.
Well, if Carl Malk is any indication, they have it. Because I just saw Carl pointing for a first down. It was an interesting call right there to run the ball in that territory.
Jim LeClaire, inside linebacker out of North Dakota. Bo Harris combined to make the stop. It is very close to a first down.
That may be why Carl Malk is an offensive center and not a referee, because they're calling it 4th down.
It is a 4th down play upcoming, and a timeout called by Houston. Let's see what Bum Phillips does here. Bum will talk it over with Ken Stabler, and we'll be right back with Cincinnati leading Houston 10-7. Well, the Houston Oilers have decided to go for it. Andrew Armstrong has checked in, so they'll go full house backfield. Bum Phillips deciding to go for the 7. We'll keep an eye out. Bum Phillips on the sideline. It is a 4th down and inches. Big play right here. It's Rob Carpenter. And we'll have to wait and see. Jim LeClaire was able to close it up. Bengal players are pointing that they take over. But let's see how they call it. So Bum Phillips decided to go for it rather than go for the field goal. And they will measure.
What could have figured into the play is that the Houston Oilers on the last play wanted a measurement and had to call timeout rather than take the 5-yard penalty for delay of game. Now they're going to get the measurement, and it's going for Cincinnati, first down. So again, that young defense rises up.
So the Cincinnati Bengals able to hold off the Houston Oilers on this play right here.
Here we'll see Jim LeClair just come up and do a tremendous job of filling and dropping Rob Carpenter shy. Jim LeClair is both a gentleman on and off the field.
So a timeout is called, and we'll be back with the Bengal offense in a moment. All right, Dave, how about that Cincinnati defensive unit?
They have risen back and forth. Hank Bulla has come in there and just done a job. We've talked about them before, but they certainly rose up on occasion. Stopped the powerful Houston Oilers on 3rd and 1.
Here's Charles Alexander getting outside and picking up 9 on the play. Greg Bingham, inside linebacker on the right, making the stop. Well, that's one way to get your club out of difficulty. They were 1st and 10 at the 13-yard line.
If the Houston Oilers can hold them down in this distance, they'll be able to get the ball back at midfield. But with Charles Alexander getting around the outside like that, it puts an awful lot more pressure because it brings up a 2nd and 1 situation.
And Jack Thompson today is 10 for 15, 98 yards. 2nd and 1 off the 9-yard run by Alexander. That's Pat McAnally, the punter, in as a wide receiver going in motion. And the first down picked up by Pete Johnson. Pete Johnson in his 5th year out of Ohio State, 6 feet, 250, and has looked very powerful right throughout. Detroit leading Minnesota 10-7 in the 3rd quarter. Field goal by Ed Murray from 36 yards out, giving the Lions the lead. And Green Bay and Dallas tied at 7. Bart Starr very much on the line. Either today or next week, all kinds of rumors coming by way of Green Bay that Starr could be at the end of his rope. That time Johnson was stopped back behind the line of scrimmage. Robert Brazil in to make the stop. Well, a quick lineup by the Bengals. 2nd and 11. At the 24 for Jack Thompson. And Thompson going for McAnally. Overthrows. McAnally caught only 1 pass all of last year. Ted Washington was covering on the play. And here in the 3rd quarter, Forrest Gregg has inserted McAnally as a wide receiver.
Well, I think he's primarily used as a punter. But an interesting thing here is that Jack Thompson is calling 2 plays back-to-back, which is trying to, again, disrupt the Houston Oilers defense from being able to call their quick signals. Usually they'll go in and the defensive concept is called in 3 segments. 1 for the line, 2nd part for the linebackers, 3rd for the secondary. And they're trying to muddle up that a little bit by calling 2 quick plays back-to-back.
Thompson has 3rd and 11, and that time confusion on the other side of the line, and penalty markers are down. I'm told that Isaac Curtis suffered a bruised back, and that is the reason that we are seeing Pat McAnally as a wide receiver. The other backup receivers are Mike Levenseller and Steve Kreider, who we have seen just briefly.
Illegal procedure, center.
Well, that's what you call a half a snap. It's indecision.
The center, Blair Bush, 3-year man out of the University of Washington. On that call, so it is a 3rd and 15. And Thompson runs out of the pocket to the 30. Down he goes. He saw a lot of blue shirts and decided that's about it.
He's already learned the famous hook slide for quarterbacks, as was evidenced on that play. Been watching the matchup between Anthony Munoz and Jesse Baker, and boy, I tell you, they are really playing hard football. They're 2 excellent football players. Munoz came in with the history of the bad knees, and he's really played well. And Jesse Baker, of course, the outstanding star.
There's Isaac Curtis, who is sitting out now with that bad back. Carl Rochus awaiting the punt from McAnally. Line drive and short. Rochus to the 40. That will be it. Good coverage by the Cincinnati Bengals. Ron Simpkins and Brian Hicks combining a 39-yard punt by McAnally, and we'll be back with the Houston Oilers offense in a moment. Right here, we pause briefly for station identification. This is the NBC Television Network.
KPRC TV, Channel 2, Houston.
2 minutes, 51 seconds left, third quarter. Houston takes over at their 43-yard line. First and 10. Here's Stabler going sideline and completing to the tight end, Mike Barber, out at the 48-yard line, and a penalty marker thrown down. Could have been a late hit. Ken Riley making the stop. Reggie Williams there, number 57, also in on the play.
I think the penalty was on Reggie Williams. Coming in late, piled on Mike Barber. It's a costly penalty as it's going to put them in their own territory trying to defend.
Foul, piling on, number 57, first down.
You can see the pass here to Barber. He looks as if he's going down, and he is down. And Reggie Williams just comes in and piles on. That's a very foolish penalty in a situation like that.
Piling on penalty on Williams. And it's a first and 10 for Houston at the Cincinnati 37. Stabler had lots of time and able to complete. Once again, it's Mike Barber who has become the primary receiver here in the second half. Glenn Cameron, right inside linebacker, making the stop, and some words between some of the Bengals and Oilers, and things getting testy out there now.
Well, an awful lot of pressure is being put on the Cincinnati Bengals. Twice they've been down here. Last time they answered the call, but this time they're back on the 25-yard line. Stabler's got the team under control. But they certainly have used Mike Barber an awful lot more than what they did in the first half.
12-yard completion for Stabler. Now Renfro is to the left and Johnson right. Barber is tight. First down at the Bengal 25-yard line. Stabler looking and completes to Renfro. Ken Riley making the stop, and Mike Renfro has been a favorite receiver of Stabler today. It's a 7-yard pickup. It'll be a 2nd and 3 at the 18-yard line. A minute and a half remaining in this third quarter. Cincinnati leading 10-7. All the scoring in the first half. 12-yard pass play. Jack Thompson to Don Bass. 26-yard field goal by Ian Sunter. 1-yard plunge by Ronnie Coleman of Houston. And that has been it. On the sweep, Rob Carpenter not able to make the turn. That was diagnosed beautifully by number 27, Brian Hicks, rookie safety man out of McNeese State.
McNeese State is right. He certainly came up and made good support on that. Came up and caught him for a little bit of a loss. It's going to bring up another Kenny Stabler situation. 3rd down and 2. Does he go for the run? If he had Earl Campbell, I guarantee you he'd be thinking an awful lot more of it.
And Earl Campbell continues to sit it out as you look at head coach Forrest Gregg of the Cincinnati Bengals. I'm sure he's not too unhappy about Campbell sitting out. We could still see Campbell later on. That remains to be seen. Off the swing, Carpenter has the first down and some more. Run out of bounds by Breeden and Riley.
We have continually seen Kenny Stabler fill the zone to his left. He's a left-handed quarterback, of course, but we've continually seen him run off Ken Riley deep and come underneath with patterns, whether it be to Barber or Carpenter, coming out on the left side into that zone. Obviously, Houston sees a weakness there on the Cincinnati Bengal defense.
Well, the Pittsburgh Steelers having an easy time with the Chicago Bears, 31-3, bouncing back from the loss against Cincinnati, and New Orleans leading Miami 16-0. Stabler again had time, able to complete. Tim Wilson down to the 5-yard line. Brian Hicks makes the stop, and Stabler is now picking that secondary apart. All short stuff, but getting the job done.
Shows that Tim Wilson is not only an excellent ball carrier with a 5-yard per carry average, but he also has good hands coming out of the backfield, and another added dimension.
And that is the end of the third quarter. So at the end of 3, the score remains Cincinnati 10 and Houston 7. We'll be right back after these messages. Welcome you back to Riverfront Stadium, Cincinnati, Ohio. This is Marv Albert with Dave Rowe as we get set for the start of play in the fourth quarter.
Our statistics here show that the Houston Oilers have not been able to run, but are going with the arm of Kenny Stabler.
And it is a 2nd down and 3 at the 4-yard line for Houston. The Oilers trailing by the score of 10-7, and the crowd urging this Cincinnati defensive unit on. They go full house backfield. And Stabler will throw off the run in big trouble. Number 72, Mike St. Clair, a recent addition to the squad, and number 67, Gary Burley on the stop.
Obviously, Tim Wilson and Mike Barber had a mix-up in their pass pattern that time as they both came off, bumped into each other, and fouled up Kenny Stabler with the timing of the pass play.
So it will be a 3rd down and 12 back at the 13-yard line.
Again, the Cincinnati defense rose up to the occasion again and stopped the Houston Oilers.
Stabler now 25 for 31, 234 yards. Wilson and Carpenter, the running back. This is Tim Wilson battling his way to the 10. Eddie Edwards, Glenn Cameron making the tackle. And so we will see Tony Fritsch come on for the first time to try and tie this game. And Fritsch has had another magnificent season. 4 for 4 in field goal attempts. He's hit from 31, 25, 29, and 17. Last year, a sizzling 21 out of 25. A 27-yard attempt upcoming. Cliff Parsley holding. Fritsch looking to tie it at 10. And he does. So 13 minutes and 41 seconds remaining in the 4th quarter. And the Oilers have come from behind. We're now tied at 10. Thomas, as he says, humble Henderson, who has seen some action today on special teams. As Tony Fritsch gets set to kick off, we're tied at 10. 27-yard field goal by Fritsch to even it up. Deep man is Cleotha Montgomery, the rookie out of Abilene Christian. And it's taken by the up man, Brian Hicks. And Hicks gets it to the 25, had some difficulty with it. Brian Hicks, a 5th-round draft pick out of McNeese State, providing the Cincinnati Bengals with a 1st down at the 25-yard line. Jack Thompson, the quarterback, Charles Alexander, Pete Johnson, the running backs. During the course of that last Houston series, we saw Ken Anderson warming up on the sideline. Don Bass out to the left, Steve Kreider to the right. Isaac Curtis on the sideline because of a back injury. Thompson dumping it off. This is Ross, the tight end. Good low tackle out at the 32-yard line by Ted Washington as Ross was looking upfield for that 1st down marker.
Certainly was. As he come off the line, he automatically got the ball quickly and thought he had the speed to go around, but it's just an excellent tackle. But it's going to bring up a 2nd down and 2 or 3, then it's an ideal situation for Jack Thompson now.
They do mark it at 2nd and 3. M.L. Harris has replaced Dan Ross at tight end. That's Harris, 83. 12 minutes, 50 seconds left, 4th quarter. Bengals and the Oilers tied at 10 as Pete Johnson was stopped going right side of the line.
Curly Culp is just a perennial All-Pro, is just playing excellent football. The 3-4 was really designed, and he was the first nose tackle to play it. He stands up, Blair Bush right on the play, right to the right side of the play, and just makes the tackle. That's just a superb football play. And he is one of the main reasons why the 34 defense has become so successful throughout the National Football League.
You like it, Dave?
I really enjoyed it while I played it. It was a defense that's designed for players like Curly Culp and myself.
Now it's a 3rd and 1 for Cincinnati at their 34-yard line. Alexander made the good second effort. Will have to wait. Looked like he was stopped short and then able to surge forward. And they will measure.
There again, though, Curly Culp got great penetration. They tried to double team him to get the depth to get him out of there, but you can watch him come off the ball, standing Blair Bush straight up. Can't say anything about that. They bring Pete Johnson in there to try and double him, but of course it allows the linebackers to come up underneath. But anytime you're taking two men, somebody's free, and on that play it was.
The officials first said, let's measure, and then they said, no, short of the mark as they placed the ball down, so Cincinnati will have to punt away. Carl Rochus awaiting the punt from Pat McAnally from his 20-yard line. Excellent hang time. And will not allow a run back. And the Houston Oilers will take over. So McAnally not allowing the return. We have 11 minutes, 4 seconds remaining. Fourth quarter. We'll be back after these words.
We want to make you smile.
Welcome back. I see you brought a friend.
Well, the veteran Ken Anderson continues to warm up on the sideline. We perhaps will see a change later on. Jack Thompson had a great first half, not able to move the club here in the second half. Here's Stabler, 1st and 10. And again he goes to Wilson. Tim Wilson out to the 43. Mike White, second-year man out of Albany State, making the stop.
With 11 minutes left in the game, or less than 11 minutes in the game, this is where Kenny Stabler is the master. He comes out of here, he plays ball control, he drops off there, picks up 7 or 8 yards, puts him in an ideal situation, second down and 2 or 3. He can run or pass. This is the type of game that the Houston Oilers want to play right now, ball control.
And he has a 2nd and 3 now at the 42. McAnally with a 31-yard punt, got lots of hang time, but no return on it. Off the draw. Just a short pickup, if anything, with Bo Harris all over Rob Carpenter. Reggie Williams also in on the tackle. Kenny Stabler now 28 for 32 for 241 yards, coming in at a completion record of 71%. He had hit his last 8 last week against the Baltimore Colts and was 41 for 49 coming into today.
Now you know why I consider Kenny Stabler the finest quarterback in professional football.
It is a 3rd and 1 for Houston. And penalty marker down. Once again, Bum Phillips going with the extra running back and Andrew Armstrong. And it is a procedure penalty. Armstrong was peeling off. And let's see the reason behind that call.
Well, Bob Young just went out of the game.
False start, offense.
Bob Young just went out of the game, and David Carter came in to replace him. Coming in on a situation like that, 3rd down and 1, you're really keyed, and evidently he moved off sides. Moved prior to the snap.
It'll be a 3rd and 6. And Stabler goes sideline, nearly intercepted. Intended for Billy Johnson, who grabbed hold of Ken Riley after the ball made contact with Riley.
Kenny Stabler was under an awful lot of pressure that time. He had a man coming right down on him. You can see him here as he takes the snap and sets back. He's very conscious of this linebacker coming right in on him. Billy Johnson here does a great play also because he dives in, merely trying to break up the ball. He was not trying to get an interception. But there's a wily old veteran there, Ken Riley, 12 years from Florida A&M.
Cliff Parsley back at his 25-yard line. And this is Cleotha Montgomery. And a boomer by Parsley. Montgomery has the back pedal. Out to the 15. Across the 20. So Cleotha Montgomery fielding that long punt by Parsley, a 54-yarder. And Ken Anderson will take over for the Cincinnati Bengals when we return following this timeout. It appeared that Forrest Gregg was about to insert Ken Anderson, but it is Jack Thompson who remains in for the Cincinnati Bengals as the Bengals take over 1st and 10 at the 20-yard line. 9:21 remaining 4th quarter, and And the Bengals and Oilers are tied at 10. And Thompson to throw on first down. Dumps it off. Pete Johnson. A check of the scoreboard. Buffalo now leading Oakland 24-7. Ferguson able to complete to Cribbs' 21-yard pass play to get the Bills on top. Dallas over Green Bay 14-7 at halftime. Robert Newhouse took it in from 1 yard out, and the Cowboys with the lead over the 1-2 Green Bay Packers. As you can see, a Houston player, it's left cornerback J.C. Wilson, shaken up, and as they attend to him, will break for these words. Well, Carter Hardwick has come on at left cornerback, replacing J.C. Wilson. 2nd and 1 at the 29. They go double tight end. The lone deep back is Pete Johnson. And Jack Thompson will put it up in big trouble. Jack Thompson now going to run for the first down, and he's got it. It appeared that they had him pinned. Elvin Bethea had a shot, could not get to him. And Thompson runs for the first down.
Jack Thompson was under extreme pressure there, as you said, from several of the Houston Oilers. But Don Bass, number 84, was wide open, but Thompson just never got a chance to get the ball to him. You can see him there just standing wide open, just wanting the ball. But actually, Thompson did a wise thing by going for the first down. He was right on the line. He had a chance to get the first down, and of course he did.
Picked up 5 yards on the play. It's a first down at the 34, and another injured Houston player a moment ago. J.C. Wilson was shaken up, replaced at corner by Carter Hardwick. Looks to be Greg Bingham. So Bum Phillips concerned as Bingham walks off the field with some help.
Of course, as you know, Marv, injuries play a big role in professional football. The Houston Oilers today are playing without Earl Campbell, as they are also without Kenny Burrow, their deep threat.
And Isaac Curtis out of the lineup here in the second half because of a bruised back. Ted Thompson has come on, replacing Greg Bingham, right inside linebacker. Thompson, a 6-year man out of Southern Methodist. The Bengals first down at their 34, 8:20 left, fourth quarter, and we're tied at 10. Swing pass, Johnson able to catch it. He actually tripped up, put himself down, and that is pushed back the other way.
Boy, is that great concentration. Pete Johnson coming out of the backfield actually tripped over it looked like he tripped over the baseball, the pitcher's mound there where they make the artificial surface, because this is a baseball field, football field. But you can see the concentration that he has. But being as big as he is, by the time he got up, they were right on top of him. But what a concentration to look that ball in.
That is not a play we will find in the Cincinnati playbook next week. Here's Thompson to throw. Incomplete, intended for Steve Kreider. Kreider, the second-year man out of Lehigh, a 6th-round draft pick last year. And it will be a 3rd and 10 out of the 34-yard line.
The clock again starts to play an important part as we're down under 8 minutes, 7.5 minutes, because the Cincinnati Bengals have got to drive. They know that they're going to have to give up the ball unless they get 10 yards on this play. And the old wily Ken Stabler is going to come in there. The guy who I rode his arm to the Super Bowl, so I like him.
Thompson is now 12 for 19. And a timeout has been called by the Bengals, so they want to talk things over. Thursday at 8 o'clock Eastern Time, right here on NBC. It's Games People Play. Our producer today, Mike Weissman, our director, Ted Nathanson. We have 7.5 left in this fourth quarter. The Cincinnati Bengals jumping to a 10-0 lead. Midway through the first half, a 12-yard pass play. Thompson to Don Bass. For Bass's 3rd touchdown of the season. Fumble by Ron Coleman of Houston following a reception. fumble recovered by Jim LeClaire, leading to a 26-yard field goal by Ian Saunter. Good drive led by Stabler, concluding with Coleman taking it in from 1. So it was 10-7 at halftime, and a 27-yard field goal by Tony Fritz early in the fourth quarter, tying it at 10. 3rd and 10 for the throw-in Simone, who is on the run and in trouble. Able to get it off, and it is ruled incomplete. Dan Ross, the intended receiver. And they had the wraps around Ross.
Here we see Jack Tatum, number 28, of course, from the Oakland Raiders, my heydays. You can see him reacting to the play right there, and he actually strips the man of the ball. So it was actually a good play. Jack Tatum, of course, a funny story on Jack Tatum was that he was seen on the plane sleeping, and you don't want to wake up Jack Tatum. And the Houston Oilers decided they were going to wake up everybody on the plane. Of course, when they picked the blanket off Jack Tatum, they said, "Oh, excuse me, Jack, go back to sleep."
In other words, they don't want to mess with Jack Tatum. That is a weekly ritual after a Houston victory on the road, where a couple of guys go around waking people up as they try to catch some Z's. Pat McAnally with a boomer. Carl Roaches to the 15, 20. Stumbles ahead, out to the 40, 45, cuts back. Down to the 40, look out! Roaches down to the 25, and down he goes around the 20. Sensational run back. Nathan Poole, a backup running back, was able to chase him down. A big, big play for the Houston Oilers. And what a cutback move by Roaches to spring it loose.
You see Roaches take the ball. He's got a wall out in front of him here. He gets behind the wall right there, breaks a couple plays, stays in bounds. You can see him high stepping there, and he's off to the races. Here you see he'll cut back, makes a good choice, and he's off. And what an impressive run down here by number 35, Nathan Poole, second year to catch him, because he's a speed burner.
54-yard punt, 68-yard return. That's Tim Wilson. Tough man to bring down, gets inside the 15-yard line. Jim LeClaire making the tackle. So the 68-yard punt return by Carl Roaches, the rookie out of Texas A&M.
Last year, Bum Phillips saw a real need in this department. The punt return, their longest punt return last year was 25 yards. So what an addition Roaches makes to their special teams.
It's a 2nd and 5 for the Oilers. 6:20 left, fourth quarter, tied at 10. A bullet thrown behind Billy Johnson. Talking about the punt kickoff effort of the Houston Oilers since the injury suffered by Billy Johnson, they have been searching, and Bum Phillips does not want to use Johnson in that department because that's be tough for the little guy to take that kind of pounding. Cleveland leading Tampa Bay 24-13 in the second quarter.
Obviously, Billy Johnson's quite a threat as a wide receiver. Not to say that Roaches is not a valuable player to the Houston Oilers, but Billy Johnson has sustained injuries, so they want to try to protect him in that area.
Renfro right, Johnson left. 3rd and 5, and on the draw, short of a first down, Ronnie Coleman. Stopped by Ross Browner.
Continually, Cincinnati has called upon their defense, and they've answered the call each time as they stop him here on a 4th down and 1.
And one of the Bengal players is hurt. It is linebacker Jim LeClaire, who has been a key man right throughout this afternoon. He's had himself an excellent game.
He made 2 great stops on short yardage and recovered a fumble, which led to their 10-point lead.
So once again, it is Tony Fritz coming on. Coming up next here on NBC, the second game of our doubleheader, where most of you will see the Seahawks of Seattle take on the Washington Redskins, plus other regional games. So stay tuned right where you are. From the 19, a 29-yard field goal. Fritz hit earlier from 27. He's 5 for 5 on the season. And Tony Fritsch has done it again. A 29-yard field goal set up by the 68-yard punt return by Carl Roches. And Houston leads for the first time today, 13-10. There's the story. 5:33 left, fourth quarter, as Tony Fritsch gets set to kick off following his 29-yard field goal. He is hit from 29 and from 27. There's Cleotha Montgomery awaiting the kick. And Fritsch again kicks short of Brian Hicks, one of the up men, out near the 30-yard line. So that's the second return by Hicks.
Cincinnati was in this similar position last week, Marv, versus the Pittsburgh Steelers, and they came back to win that game under the direction of Jack Thompson. So evidently they have a lot of confidence under Jack Thompson.
The Detroit Lions leading the Minnesota Vikings 17-7 in the fourth quarter. St. Louis in a surprise leading the Philadelphia Eagles 10-7. Philly, of course, coming off a Monday night game, so that may be taking its toll. Here's Charles Alexander out across the 30, a short pickup. Greg Bingham, who obviously is all right after he was shaken up on the last defensive series, and on the tackle. 2-yard advance by Alexander. It is a 2nd and 8 at the 32. 5 minutes remaining in this fourth quarter. And Houston down once by the count of 10-0, now leading it 13-10. Earl Campbell has sat out right throughout. Going in, they said he would be a question mark because of a pulled groin. Last week carried only 7 times for 11 yards, then went to the sidelines. And Bun Phillips looking to do it without him today, just wants to rest him. Here's Alexander on the sweep across the 35. Charles Alexander, who comes off a disappointing rookie year, has been showing signs of coming on. Out of Galveston, Texas. Stopped by Andy Duras, the defensive left end.
Well, he certainly knows how to carry the ball, Charles Alexander. At LSU, he carried the ball an awful lot of times.
Picked up 5 on the play. And it's a 3rd and 3. Doris, Cope, Buffet up front. Brazil, Bingham, Stringer, Washington on the linebackers. Now Kennard is in for Cope at middle guard. 3rd and 3, the call. And Thompson will put it up. Penalty marker is down. Thompson overthrows Alexander out at midfield.
That was an obvious holding penalty against the Houston Oilers. They like to tackle not Don Bass, but I believe it was Don Bass as he come off the line.
Crowd reacting to the preliminary signal by the referee, Ben Dreith.
Hey, that was just a blatant call. He really...
Defense holding number 32. That's an automatic first down.
It's the strong safety, Vernon Perry, called for the hold, so the Bengals get a break. Automatic first down at the 42-yard line. Running backs, Charles Alexander, Pete Johnson. And it's Johnson to the 46. Pick up a 4. It'll be a 2nd and 6. Ted Washington, number 59, making the stop.
Pete Johnson just continues to impress me with the size and the running ability. He's come out of the backfield. He's been an all-purpose back today, catching a lot of passes. He's probably been the main force behind the Cincinnati offense today.
16 carries, 60 yards for Johnson. 2nd and 6 for the Bengals. And it's Johnson again, out to midfield. Short of a first down, it'll set up a 3rd and 2. The clock running now, just under 3 minutes left in this fourth quarter. Houston leading it by the score of 13-10. As you look at Ian Sunter, the placement specialist for the Bengals. Detroit over Minnesota now in the fourth quarter, 24-7. New Orleans in a surprise, leading Miami 16-7. That Miami quarterback situation is still up for grabs. Here's Johnson, and he is short. Johnson, who has been doing it all day that time, not able to pick it up. Mike Stensrud with a big stump.
I think they went to the well one time too many.
The crowd urging the Bengals to go for it. As you look at the sideline theatrics, Nathan Poole just came on to replace Pete Johnson. It is a 4th and 1. And here is the 2-minute warning. So now the Bengals will have some more time to talk things over. 2 minutes left, 4th quarter. It is Houston by 3, 13-10. Here is the key play of the game coming up. The Cincinnati Bengals trailing the Houston Oilers 13-10, and they have a 4th and about 1. At midfield, as you look at quarterback Jack Thompson. 2 minutes remaining, 4th quarter. Thompson has just talked it over with head coach Forrest Gregg. And Pete Johnson returns to the lineup, replacing Nathan Poole. So the 2-minute warning timeout provided Johnson with a respite. Johnson and Alexander are the running backs. And the Cincinnati crowd urging their Bengals on. It is Alexander, and he has picked up the first down. Alexander going the right side to pick up a very important first down with time running down. J.C. Wilson, the left quarterback, covering up on the play.
Jack Thompson here really fouls up the Houston Oilers. They thought they would go towards Anthony Munoz, but he fouled him up, came back to the weak side, got a hole there, and went on through and picked up the first down. A really important first down.
Cincinnati 2 timeouts left. Houston has 3. 1:24 left, 4th quarter. First down at the Houston 47. And Thompson goes for the home run. Deep downfield, but overthrow. Intended for Don Bass. So Jack Thompson looking to put 6 up right there.
Jack Thompson here really laid it out for Don Bass. You can see the effort. Don Bass and Greg Stemrick running stride for stride. Look at this effort by Don Bass to go after the ball. They really want to play for Jack Thompson and Forrest Gregg.
Now Pat McAnally has come in as a wide receiver, replacing Steve Kreider. 2nd and 10 for Cincinnati at the Houston 47. Thompson, as you see, 13 for 21. Oilers lead it by 3, 13-10. Now swing pass, incomplete, intended for Pete Johnson. That pass was thrown off the mark. And he had the linebacker Brazil right in the line of sight. So it is a 3rd and 10 at the 47.
Again, they've continually gone to Pete Johnson, and Robert Brazil saw him coming out of the backfield and just stayed with him.
Only 1 minute and 9 seconds left in the 4th quarter. Ian Sunter obviously thinking it over right here. He had a big one in the final minutes last Sunday to beat the Pittsburgh Steelers. And Thompson goes sideline, and it is picked off by the Houston Oilers. M.L. Harris, the intended receiver. Jack Tatum with the intercept. And the Oilers, with 1:01 left in the 4th quarter, have regained possession.
That's one of the great things that Jack Tatum can do as a nickel back. He's the extra back there playing the eyes of the quarterback. He merely drops back, plays center field, sees where Jack Thompson is looking, and plays that way. That time he played just excellent, came up, took the ball, and could ice it.
And Jack Thompson, very unhappy young man, as he tried to drill it through a crowd along the near side. Jack Tatum coming up with his 3rd intercept of the season, and he has been employed primarily as a nickel back. 9-year veteran out of Ohio State. Pound for pound, still the toughest hitter in the National Football League. Quarterback Ken Anderson, the veteran, talking with the 2nd-year man, Jack Thompson. as the Oilers take over. 1st and 10 at their 35-yard line. They lead it 13-10, and they just want to kill off the final minute 1. Ken Stabler. Full house backfield. And a quick timeout being called for by Cincinnati. Harris just grabbing Rob Carpenter. That's the final. Buffalo Bills have done it, defeating Euro Ball Club Day, the Oakland Raiders. 24-7. What do you think about Oakland?
Buffalo certainly looks like they're for real. I think Oakland is in the transition period of coming from the older players to the younger players, but Buffalo has really been impressive this year.
The rookie Cribbs, Joe Ferguson, excellent quarterback.
I think after the first couple games, no one really thought that Buffalo was that good, but they're getting more and more credibility every week.
Ken Stabler with another extraordinary day. 28 for 34, 241 yards. Oilers again just look to kill the clock, and the final timeout being utilized now by Cincinnati. The Bengals looking to strip the football, looking to do whatever they can, and of course take a miraculous turn right here.
That's a very frustrating position to be in. You know the clock is running out. You're using your timeouts. And all you want to do is get the ball back, give your offense a little chance, but it doesn't look very good. Like you said, unless there's one of those Philadelphia Eagles snaps against the New York Giants.
As we have touched upon throughout the telecast, of course, from the Houston point of view, they are doing it today without Earl Campbell, so Bum Phillips able to give Campbell a complete day of rest. And Rob Carpenter was looking for some contact. There were no Cincinnati players looking to cover up on him. Penalty markers all over the field, and we have some temper tantrums on both sides of the line. A frustrating day for the Bengals, who played very well, and yet here they are faced with 40 seconds remaining and a difficult three-point defeat.
That's very surprising, Leon Gray being in there in an argument like that, because he's a very mild-mannered person and very, very well-liked, very popular. But as I said, it is a frustrating position to be in. One thing it does do, though, is stop the clock. You can see Bum Phillips there wanting the clock to run.
Offsetting penalties, personal fouls assessed on both the Oilers and the Bengals. The clock has stopped with 40 seconds remaining, and Bum wants that clock to show some movement, and he is in a rage right now. In fact, Phillips at the far side on the field, which is a no-no. Crowd looking to taunt Phillips, who is just red hot, as you can see. Timeout being indicated by Bum. And the reason for that timeout, he wants to talk with the officials.
I think he wants to make sure that he gets his entire punt team in there, because definitely Cincinnati is going to be coming at it. But also he wants to make sure that his punter gets a good punt, because all he needs is one good play right here, a good return, and they're back in field goal position. So Cincinnati basically has done what they wanted to do. They're going to get the ball back for their offense. Even though they're not going to have much time, a pass or two could make a big difference. That personal foul really hurt the Houston Oilers in this situation.
The back judge, Stan Javi, try to settle Phillips down. There's referee Ben Greif. Bum is still upset because he felt the clock should have started.
I know he's upset now. I just saw him take off his hat.
Well, we have an opportunity, thanks to our statisticians Bill Schwarberg and Mike Leonard, our statistician Dr. John Drought. Always good to have a doctor here, Dave, in case you get physical.
Yeah, after playing the last 2 years without my helmet, sometimes that does happen. But that penalty really is a big play in this game. Now, what does Cincinnati do? Do they come out and block the ball, or do they try to get the return? If it was me, I'd try to get my return to get the ball back into 3-down territory.
All right, Cleotha Montgomery is back. Cliff Parsley will punt from his 6. We have 40 seconds left, fourth quarter.
It might take a safety.
No, he's not going the Don Shula route. Good hang time. Montgomery to the 40. And that's it. Keep in mind the Bengals do not have any timeouts. So we assume that Jack Thompson has called off several plays right here. And we'll look to go sideline and stop the clock. 47-yard punt and a beauty by Parsley.
They've got to get down to the 30-yard line to get into Ian Sunder's range. Obviously, they're going to have to go to a sideline pattern because they don't have timeout, as you said, Marv.
Marv Albert, Dave Rowe from Riverfront in Cincinnati. We have 29 seconds remaining in the fourth quarter. Bengals take over in a last desperation situation. The Oilers lead it 13-10. Bengals with Jack Thompson at quarterback going right throughout. 1st and 10 at the 41-yard line. And Thompson will put it up. Goes sideline, and he's got Kreider. He was in bounds. A great catch by Steve Kreider, second-year man out of Lehigh. And that play took only 7 seconds. So Jack Tatum beaten by Kreider moments ago was Tatum intercepting Thompson. And now a first down for Cincinnati at the Houston 37.
We can see from ground level here that Jack Thompson is really confident in that pocket. He drops the ball in there, and he must have been an engineer because he was right on the sideline, made a touchdown, made a tiptoe catch right on the sideline. Certainly got him in range.
Number 19 is Ian Sunter, and he may be called upon very shortly. 22-yard pass play between Thompson and Kreider. And here's Thompson again on first down, running out of the pocket. He's going to try to get out of bounds. No, he cannot. He went to the center of the field, and the clock is running. That is an error by Jack Thompson. The clock running. 7 seconds now. They try to line up. And now the clock was stopped with 5 seconds. Jack Thompson should have gone to the near side. Should have gone out of bounds.
He's got to get the ball out of bounds right now. He's got to take the snap, and throw the ball down to kill the clock to get a shot at. They've got 4 seconds. 3, 2,
Even if he does, Ian Sunter will have quite a task. He does fire. It's batted away. The scoreboard shows no time. Let's wait for the official announcement. 0-0 on the scoreboard. There's the gun, and that's it. So they are not able to get the field goal kicker Ian Sunter in. A critical error by Jack Thompson as the Houston Oilers have defeated the Cincinnati Bengals 13-10 with the game winner, a 29-yard field goal by Tony Fritsch, his second field goal of the afternoon. So Bum Phillips has to breathe a sigh of relief to pull this one out. Houston goes 3 up and 1 down. A tough loss for Cincinnati. They are now 1-3 from Riverfront Stadium, Cincinnati, Ohio. This is Marv Albert along with Dave Rowe. Now let's go to NFL 80 in New York. Here is Brian